Zaffa Books presents A Year in the Château, written by Sarah Long and read by Helen Lloyd. Part 1. Winter. Chapter 1. A dull night in January is the best time to start again. Just when you think the days will never get longer, and you feel the heavy girdle of Christmas excess wrapped around your middle as you lie on the sofa, and wonder if you can be bothered to get up to make a cup of tea. Nicola pulled the rug over her knees. The central heating only really kicked in when Dominic came back from the office, grabbed her phone, and decided she'd play one more round of Ruzzle. She'd never thought of herself as having an addictive personality, but she loved the adrenaline hit of forming words against the clock. 37 games later, she heard a key in the door, and guiltily slipped her phone into her pocket, picking up the improving book with no narrative drive that was abandoned on the coffee table. Ruzzle was sneaky like that, the way it hooked you in, so anybody with time on their hands and a reasonable vocabulary could easily waste an entire afternoon. Still, at least it wasn't Candy Crush. She deleted that after one too many nights spent in its thrall. Dominic put his head around the door, stern-faced in his reflective jacket and bicycle helmet. "You look cosy," he said, managing to make it sound judgmental. "I need a drink. Do you want one?" "Bit early for me. And you can take your helmet off now. You're not in enemy territory." "Says you. You've no idea what it's like out there, tucked up on your snug sofa. I'm going to get changed. Then we need to talk." He pulled the door shut behind him. It was important to keep the heat in, now Nicola only had her pension to rely on, as he liked to remind her. Albeit a doctor's pension, beyond the wildest dreams of anyone in the private sector, as he also liked to remind her. Like most GPs, she'd taken early retirement. You only had to do the maths to see why. The reduction in income seemed worth it, for the sake of no more sleepless nights over how her most fragile patients were doing. No more passing over the tissue box, as she sent people she'd treated for years for tests she knew would bring no good news. No more worried patients burdening her with minor ailments or their own latest theory on what Google said was wrong with them. Dom said they needed to talk. That sounded heavy. She pulled her phone out of her pocket. Might as well fit in another game before whatever it was. A 2-minute window to calm her mind and put her opponent, Big Mouth 69, back in her box. "Sorry for being grumpy," said Dominic, reappearing in jeans and the grey jumper she had bought him for Christmas, to complement what she affectionately called his Nigel Havers bouffant. "I've had such a shit day." He sat down beside her and lifted her feet onto his lap. Nicola pressed pause. No point giving the round away, and gave him her attention. "Poor you. I remember how that feels." In her case, a shit day might have resulted in someone's death, a misdiagnosis, a failure of judgment. But she never played the moral superiority card. Every job had its own pressures. "Which is why I said we need to talk." He jumped up and made his way to the fridge. "Is it late enough for you now?" "Go on, then." He filled 2 glasses with their favourite Chablis Premier Cru and moved briskly back towards her. Cock of the walk. She loved his energy, even tired after a long day and 35 years older than when they'd met. He still made her smile. "So you're not leaving me?" "What?" "When you said we need to talk. That's what people say when they're about to end their relationship." "Not my style. If that's what you've decided, there's nothing to talk about, is there? And anyway, nothing could be further from my mind. Here's to you, my darling, and to many more years of our loving union. Prost!" He raised a toast, leaning over in mock earnestness to make exaggerated eye contact, the way a German friend had taught them years ago. She responded by staring solemnly into his face before dissolving into laughter. "That's enough of this nonsense," she said. "Don't keep me in suspense. What is this serious thing we need to talk about?" "Bullshit jobs," said Dom, as if this was perfectly self-explanatory. "Excuse me?" "Someone wrote a book about it.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?